What's going on, everyone? It's Twist here. Welcome back to another video. So today I thought I'd make a tip video, but it's gonna be a bit more advanced tip video because I feel like all the tip videos that I've done, the ones that are available on YouTube on Critical Ops, they're very basic in a way. You know, they help the new players. They help, oh, you gotta keep your crosshair headshot level. You gotta, not peek in stupid positions. But all of that helps maybe if you're silver or if you're gold. But I feel like there's really a lack of good tips for like the platinum, for diamonds, maybe for even for master players. So today I'm going to go over my knowledge on peeking, which is something if you learn how to do properly, you will really elevate your gameplay. So yeah, today we're going to go over that. But before that, of course, going to do my usual YouTuber shilling. Number one, go follow my Trovo right down there. Some of you have been wondering why I don't stream on YouTube as much. Is because I stream on Trovo. It's just a better streaming platform. I'd rather have less viewers but stream on a platform that actually cares for their streamers. Because on YouTube, it's just very bad for streaming. Like if you tried streaming on YouTube, you'd understand. So yeah, please follow me on Trovo. Also my Discord, it's here. My camera is reversed, so gotta figure it out. But yeah, my Discord's there. We also got a vanity URL, so now you don't have to type like a string of letters or something. You can just join it typing discord.gg/twist2op. There's also all of the links are in the description, even more like my Twitter, my Instagram, if you're interested in any of that. And also another thing, I announced this like a year ago, but of course I just never delivered. But I'm actually going to review your guys' gameplay as a video, just go over like a typical, let's say, platinum rank game and kind of analyze what you could do better, what you did wrong. So if you're interested in getting your game randomly selected and analyzed by me, you can send it. It's in my Discord server. You go to the channel there. I'm not sure what the channel name is. It's going to be on the screen right now because I haven't made it yet. But you just go to the channel, you upload the video to Google Drive preferably, and then you just link your gameplay, and I will choose one of you for each video, and I'll try to go over it and kind of tell you what mistakes you made, what could have been better. So yeah, if you're interested in any of that, please check the description, everything is there. But let's just start the video. So today we're going to go over peeking. As I said, peeking is kind of a broadly overlooked subject in Critical Ops. I feel like most people just peek like they've always done it, since day one. They don't really adjust their peeking method to the situation that awaits them. So today I'm going to go over kind of the more basic peeking methods that there are. And there's even more advanced peeking methods, but that's not going to be covered in this video. This is like, as I said, for the intermediates. There's still like pro level peeking methods or whatever that I'm not even going to cover. Alright, so I hosted a Bureau game. This is the new update as well, the beta, but I feel like when a lot of you watch this video, it'll already be released publicly. So it's better if I show it here, especially with the new kind of movement updates that they've made in the beta update. So let's just go over it. First peeking method is the most widely known, the one that your everyday man uses in Critical Ops. It's just the wide peek. Wide peeking basically means whatever angle you peek, you commit to it. You wide peek it. So let's say I want to peek this vents hall area. What I do when I wide peek, I just go like this. I go from one side to the other. I commit to the peek. There could be an opponent there. And I basically assume that, I'll peek him and I'll kill him. Because if I don't kill him, then, he will kill me. There's no taking cover here. So wide peeking is most commonly used for medium to short range engagements. It's not really good for long range engagements, and I'll show you why. The further away you are from the peeking area, the less the enemy will have to flick. And wide peeking is good because it kind of makes the enemy flick a little. So if I'm holding this angle and someone wide peeks it, like I'm holding it, but he might already be here by the time I react, right? So that's why wide peeking is good. And the closer you are to the corner, the more you will have to flick to kind of get the enemy that's wide peeking, right? The advantage of this is that you offset the enemy's crosshair. So basically, as I said, the closer you are, the more you offset it. And it's just good because the enemy has to flick. And if you have good pre-aim, you pretty much have already, aimed on the enemy. And the disadvantage of this is that you commit to the peek fully. So that's what I said. Wide peeking basically means you're just going like this. And you have to get the kill. If you don't get the kill, well, you're dead. You're literally out here, you have nowhere to go, and the enemy will kill you if you don't have fast enough reaction time and good enough aim. It's best used when you're engaging a single opponent, because let's say there's 3 opponents. If I peek all of them at the same time, and I'm wide peeking, I'm probably not going to kill all 3 of them, in just faster than all 3 of them kill me. And I have already committed, so it's very hard for me to do anything more than just get 1 or 2 kills at best and then just die. So that's why it's best used if you have some information that, let's say in the Sven's Hall area, there's only one player and he's close range, like this would actually be the engagement, I would say, wide peek. If there's a guy, you know, he's like holding this, he's standing there for some reason, and you know there's only one guy, I'd say wide peek him, because you're gonna offset his crosshair a little bit. He's gonna have to flick a little bit, and it's generally just the most commonly used method for engaging opponents like that. And what this peeking method requires mostly is fast reaction time and aim adjustment, also known as flicking. Because if you don't have, as I said, fast reaction time or aim adjustment, you're just going to be caught here out in the open, you're going to get gunned down. Alright, so the next peeking method, that is kind of the, as I said, from the top down, a bit less known, but still a lot of people use it. It's the close peek. Close peeking basically means that you peek someone and you just do it like this. Like wide peeking, you would go like this, and when you see an opponent, you'd crouch. Close peeking is more peeking like this. Like not really jiggle peeking, but like checking one angle at a time. And when you checked one angle, you commit to the next one, and so on and so forth. And this peeking method is best used when you're engaging opponents in medium to long range gunfights, because if I wide peek there, let's say there's an opponent right there on the bin, if I wide peek him, like I do have to flick, like it's just harder. If I check, like if I go angle by angle like this, which is like slow peeking basically, you can like, you don't have to run, you can like, you know, slow walk basically and peek. And when you do that, especially in long range, it's going to be easier, because your crosshair is not going to have, you're not going to have to like flick on the opponent in some cases. You're just going to check like angle by angle, and it's just easier to do that. Close peeking is basically the opposite of wide peeking in quite a lot of scenarios. As I said, close peeking is good for medium to long range, wide peeking is good for short to medium range. The advantage of this peeking method is the ability to check angle by angle. So you're not exposing to yourself to all angles at once. So that's what I meant with wide peeking. If you wide peek, as I said, if there's 3 opponents, I mean, you're dead, pretty much. If you close peek them, I mean, if there's 3 opponents, you're still probably going to go down. But it's more like, you know, you can just slowly check this, then you can check this, then you can check that. So you're not like as exposed. The disadvantage is that you basically walk in the enemy's crosshair at a lot of times. Because when someone's holding this like this, again, the same example, and you're just like slowly peeking your head around the corner here, I mean, it's quite easy for the opponent to just basically just one-tap you even, if he's, you know, at high skill level. So that's kind of the disadvantage of this peeking method. And what you can do is like slow peek while crouching. That's another thing people do a lot in critical ops, and it's a bit annoying. But yeah, you can also do like, to be honest, close peeking is mostly used when you're crouching, because you can slow walk, but as I said, like the opponent probably going to have his crosshair on your headshot level. So when you're close peeking, it's easier for you to peek, first of all, to close peek, and second of all, it's just overall like the enemy will have to like at least flick down a little bit to kind of hit your head. So that's why close peeking together coupled with crouching is a good way to, is the other popular way how to peek nowadays. And when you're close peeking, you also make it harder for multiple enemies to spot you. So some of them will see you, but you will be protected by wall from others. So again, as I said, if like there's an opponent right on the bin and there's one more here, if you wide peek them, you're pretty much like, you go here and you wide peek, you're pretty much exposed quite quickly. However, if you close peek it, if you crouch peek it even, it's easier to kind of, let's say there's an opponent and then there's an opponent. So if I peek him like this, you know, I can kill this one, and then I haven't exposed myself yet to that opponent. Alright, so the next peeking method is going to be the jiggle peeking. Jiggle peeking is good when you need to spot out info. It's not really good for getting kills, it's good for getting information. So what jiggle peeking is basically moving your crosshair from left to right like this, in a way how you, like you can see the area for a brief moment, you can spot where the enemies are. But if you're holding this and someone is like doing this, I mean, it's hard to, especially if that someone has a sniper that's holding the angle, it's hard for him to like aim at you and like shoot you immediately. So jiggle peeking is mostly used for information plays, and the advantage of the peeking method is that you're gaining knowledge about an unexplored area, while you have quite little risk in taking damage. I mean, you might take some damage, especially if the opponent is close, you know, more of your body will be kind of in his POV. And then after you've gained the information, you can either like give it to your team, which would be more in scrims and tournaments, since, I mean, rank doesn't really have voice chat and nobody really jiggle peeks and then, you know, goes to chat and types, "Oh my god, guys, one man's hall." So this is, again, mostly used in kind of the upper echelon of critical ops. And what you can do, you can couple, you can piece together like jiggle peeking with close peek or wide peek. So that would mean I peek this area, It's a shame there's no bots here, but I peek this area, I jiggle peek it, I see one opponent, and then I wide peek him, and I already know where he is. So like it's easier for me to get him. If he's close to medium range, like if I jiggle peek and he's there, I'd probably wide peek him to kind of offset his crosshair a little bit. If I jiggle peek this and I see an opponent there, I'd probably like crouch peek it, which is not even crouching and peeking, it's more like walking, and then you crouch at the right time, like right at the time where you're basically exposing yourself. So see, there's an opponent, I jiggle peek him, I see him, and now it's like I can just pre-fire it. So that's how jiggle peeking is mostly used for. The disadvantage of this peeking method is like the inability to shoot the opponent before you have taken cover. So it's like a very fast move. Most of the time, like you see the opponent, but kind of you're already behind a wall, just because you know your brain doesn't react that fast that you can click the shoot button. And also you're going to be quite inaccurate because you're always moving, you're always in action. So like even if you peek like this and shoot at the perfect time, most of the time, like because you're moving, your aim is going to be a bit off. So that's kind of the disadvantage. But as I said, jiggle peeking is most of the time used for information plays, and it's not really used to actually kill someone. To kill someone, most of the time you use close peek or wide peek. But there's a third method that I'm going to go over now, which is jump peeking. Now jump peeking, if you play games like CSGO or other mobile shooters, like jump peeking isn't really a thing in most other first-person shooters, especially on PC. But in Critical Ops, it's actually quite easy. The reason why is because when you jump and you shoot, you're actually quite accurate. Like in CSGO, your recoil, like literally if you jumped and shot, your recoil would just go like that. But in COps, it's actually quite accurate. So jump peeking is a viable option in matchmaking. Now the thing is, you're going to ask like, well, how am I going to use it? Don't worry, I'm going to tell you. So jump peeking is the best method to use when you're encountering low fire rate weapons. So normally this would be if you have an information that someone is here with a sniper, with an SVD, with a revolver, with a deagle, even like an HK maybe. Basically a weapon that doesn't, that doesn't go brr, basically, that just goes more like slowly. The weapon that's fire rate is like this. Jump peeking is good because you really offset your enemy's crosshair. Like most people, when they hold an angle, they hold it like this or a bit lower like this. So basically to account for crouch peeking, close crouch peeking as well. But what you can do when you jump, you really offset the enemy's crosshair. So when you're jumping, why it's good for sniper? Because sniper usually holds it at this angle, like even lower like this. So when you jump, if you jump at the perfect time where you hit like the maximum height of the jump right when you peek, you will kind of jump over the sniper in a lot of times. I've personally dodged a lot of sniper bullets, a lot of U-ratio bullets when you're jumping like this, rather than if you go like this, the U-ratio player will get you most of the time. So this is why it's good. If you know that there's like a low fire rate weapon like behind the wall, then I would really suggest jumping. This also can go together with jiggle peeking. As I said, let's say you jiggle peek it, the sniper misses his bullet because you're quick, you're fast as boy. You go here, you see a sniper, and then you jump, and then you just do that. And you can also start shooting while you're still in the air, but in my personal experience that doesn't really help as much. Now there's one huge disadvantage for jump peeking, and that is that even though you're kind of jumping over the enemy's crosshair, you're still quite vulnerable, and you can't really start shooting here because, as I said, you're not that accurate. So what's going to happen if you jump peek, let's say an AK or a high fire rate weapon? I mean, yes, you're going to offset the enemy's crosshair, but he's going to adjust quickly, and he's going to be able to shoot you before you even land, and you are able to shoot him. So that's like one huge disadvantage of jump peeking, is that you're inaccurate while in air. So even though the inaccuracy is way lower than in most other PC games, in most other first-person shooters, it's still going to be a problem. Shotgun is also something you can counter with the jump peeking. I mean, it's going to be a bit harder, but yeah, most likely the shotgun player will hold the angle like this, and he'll shoot, but he'll probably not like hit you. And if he doesn't hit you, I mean, you pretty much can take down the shotgun player. That doesn't go for the Super 90, as we know. That's just not really. I mean, it's getting better in this update, but still, I wouldn't really suggest jump peeking a Super 90. But as long as you're encountering low fire rate weapons, like let's say the Winchester, the FP6, jump peeking is going to be a viable option. Alright, so those are the 4 basic peeking methods. I kind of forgot to mention what you need for each of them, so let me just go over that. First off, it's wide peeking. It requires fast reaction time and aim adjustment. As I said, flicking. Second one is close peek, which requires good pre-aim and crosshair placement. So when you're close peeking someone, you just have to have good crosshair placement, because if you don't get the immediate headshot, or just immediately have your crosshair on the head, or at least on the body of the enemy, he will kill you quicker, because he's kind of the way how he's holding the angle. It's always gonna be like, he's gonna tap you instantly if you don't have good aim. So that's kind of what's more needed for close peeking. For jiggle peeking, you just need good joystick control. I mean, you can literally go in any lobby and just practice this for a while, and I promise you'll get good at it. I mean, it's not even hard. You kind of have to get the timing right, like the timing where basically right when your brain reacts and like reads what's on the screen, you're already going back. And yeah, it doesn't really take that much practice. I mean, if you practice this for like 10 minutes, I'm sure you'll pretty much have it down. So jiggle peeking is really easy, and it's also very good for information, as I said. And jump peeking, what that requires is kind of good recoil control, because even though you're inaccurate while jumping, you still can land some bullets if you have good recoil control. So that's like one thing that you need with jump peeking, is just good recoil control, so you can basically, so you don't have to like jump peek and then start shooting when you're here. Or so you can basically jump peek and like already be on target, like here. Like, see how I'm jump peeking, but I'm already like pretty much hitting where the head would be if he was an intel. So that's what you need for that. Alright, so those are pretty much the basics. As I said, this is more for the intermediates, probably the pro players who I just are like, twist, I already know all of this. But I feel like a lot of players who are in Platinum and Master, maybe not even Master, like Platinum to Diamond, like they're basically only wide peeking and sometimes close peeking, but they don't even utilize jiggle peek or jump peeking in the way that you should utilize it. So that's why I went over that as well. There are still some other stuff that I didn't really touch on for peeking, but again, that's like for more of the pro level, and I want to go over the intermediate level first. And then once I go over the intermediate level, I feel like if there's regard for this and if people actually want it, I can go over like some of the more high-tech stuff as well. But this is not the basics. This is something when you've played Critical Ops for a while that you can start implementing in your gameplay and try to perfect it. Because for new players who are just downloading the game or have played for like 1 month, it's not really going to be as easy to do these things, because as I said, there's like certain requirements for each of these peeking styles. And let's say if a player has played for a month, he probably won't have like good pre-aim and crosshair placement needed for that close peek. So yeah, again, it's from the top to the bottom: wide peek, close peek, jiggle peek, jump peek. In my opinion, those are the kind of difficulties for each of them. And yeah, I'd suggest just going from the top and trying to learn. If you haven't learned all of these already, just trying to learn in that manner. Anyways, that's gonna be it for today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Again, please leave a like if you enjoy this type of content. It will just tell me that you guys want to see more of this. Perhaps more advanced tips on aiming, more advanced tips on movement, more advanced tips on game sense. Yeah, leave a like, subscribe. Again, I'm live on Trovo quite often, so go follow me there. We're actually close to 500 follows, so I mean, that's not a lot, but as I said, I'd rather stream for a smaller audience, but on a better platform. And all the homies are there, all the longtime supporters are there. It's more, I can read the chat more as well. It's not as spammy. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'm repeating myself. The Discord is down here. And yeah, hopefully you guys have a good day. Bye.